Today I am sitting here with Andrew Fairleigh with New American Funding, and we're going to talk about what it takes to get the home loan process started. Welcome, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, Andrew. So generally, what is the process to get started on a home loan?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Step one, I always tell people, is having a conversation with the lender. Their realtor usually puts them in touch with the lender, and you just have a conversation. I think that's probably the hardest part for people, is to find someone to talk to that's not a robot or not intimidating. You're not just going to treat them like a number. And then after that, you're going to fill out an application online. We do a soft pull of your credit to get your credit score and your debts. You'll submit some documentation like pay stubs, bank statements, and W-2s so that you can review your income and your money in the bank. And with all that information, we can tell you how much you qualify for. And if not, we can make a plan for you to figure out how much you can qualify for in the future. And so the process is very simple. It's a very rough overview of it. And it doesn't take very long either. It's not like it takes days, weeks, months, or anything like that. Usually we can have a conversation, and that same day you fill out the application. The next day we review it and we talk about it, and we go on our merry way.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so qualification, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So what all goes into a payment then?
Okay, yeah. So in your monthly payment, I think everybody knows, is the principal and interest, right? That's the part of paying off the loan, paying off the house over 15, 20, 25, 30 years, however long you decide for that term in your loan. So that's the part that everybody knows. That's the part that usually the websites like Zillow and stuff will show you for a monthly payment. But you have to make sure you're calculating in your homeowner's insurance for your house, just like your car, and your property taxes, which in Texas can be quite a lot. The other piece of it would be a mortgage insurance. That's on stuff like conventional and FHA. Conventional, your mortgage insurance goes away after 20% down. Products like USDA and VA don't have mortgage insurance. But when you're looking at a payment, it's important to know that insurance is probably going to be another $200, give or take, and that property taxes can be $500 to $600 or more or less, depending on the purchase price you're looking at. So I always tell people, when you're looking at a home and it's showing you a monthly payment on Zillow of principal and interest, whatever it says for insurance and taxes, just ignore it and add like probably another $700 to $800 just to get an idea of what that payment would be.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Great pointers, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we got an idea of what a payment consists of. So how do we know how much home a person can afford?
Yeah, so I always tell people that it's going to be less than half, or right about half of your monthly income. So if you make $5,000 a month, the most you can afford for a monthly payment is going to be about $2,500. It's actually a little less than that. It's like 45% of your monthly income is what your payment can be. But that number can decrease based on how much debt you have. So again, that same example, $5,000 a month, the most you can afford is $2,500 a month. But if you have a $500 a month car payment, well, now that housing payment has to shrink to $2,000 to be able to fit inside that same kind of ratio in those same buckets. So the more debt you have, the less house you can afford, and it all comes down to your monthly debt. And I tell people that your monthly payment tends to be 0.8 to 1% of what your purchase price is. So a $2,500 a month payment is right around a $250,000 purchase price, give or take. So that's what I tell people when they're thinking about what they're looking to buy and what they think they can afford monthly, is just to kind of use those ratios.
That's a good set of numbers there to make it a little easier to figure out. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so we got a good idea of how much home we can afford. So
Mm-hmm.
now, generally, how much should a person really save?
Yeah, okay, good question. These are all usually the things I get asked a lot. So it's going to be basically your down payment plus another $8,000 to $10,000 is what I tell people for a real rough estimate. Conventional, you can do 3% down payment if you're a first-time home buyer, or 5%. And FHA's minimum requirement is 3.5%, whereas products like USDA and VA have a 0% requirement if you qualify for those. So in an example, again, sticking with all of our numbers, if you're buying a $200,000 house with a 5% down payment, that's $10,000. But your additional cash to close, your total closing costs, including lender and title fees and then setting up your escrow account, is going to be probably about another $10,000. So on a conventional 5% down product, your total cash to close for a $200,000 home is probably like $20K. FHA a little different, right? We're doing a 3.5% down payment, so $7,000. Still that same 8 to 10 additional closing costs though, so probably more like $17K. So as you're looking at those homes, down payment plus 10 is going to give you a pretty good ballpark of what that's going to be, but always ask your lender for exact numbers.
Gotcha. And would you say it'd be a good idea to keep a little extra just in case for emergency?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You don't want to max out all that you have available just to get into the home, because I'm sure people will want to pay for movers and not do it themselves, or buy new furniture, new TVs, new things. You don't want to be maxed out day one in your home, right? You want to be able to have something left over. And so there's obviously things we can do to help mitigate that.
So we got a good idea of what we're going to need for that down payment, but what if someone can't come up with that kind of money?
Oh yeah, so we've got down payment assistance programs. There's plenty in Texas. My favorite one to use is TSHAC. That's TSAHC. And what they'll do is they'll give you a percentage of your loan amount to help pay for those closing costs, and then that program will just set the rate. And the rates have gotten a lot better lately, so it's a really great program to use for anybody looking to get a little assistance to buy a home. So as an example, they'll do 2, 3, 4, or 5% assistance. So if you're buying a $200,000 home or you have a $200,000 loan, they'll give you $4, $6, $8, or $10,000 to go towards your total closing cost, which compared to the number I was just telling you about can be a really big help to people who need that. So there's some great options out there to help people, like I said, mitigate their cash to close.
That's excellent. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, that number that everybody, maybe they're scared about or maybe they're a little unsure with is credit score. So what does it mean to have a good credit score? Yeah, so a good credit score, honestly, lately I've seen to be more in like the mid-600s. The minimum requirement for FHA is 580. You can go as low as a 500 on FHA if you're going to put 10% down. But if you're going to do the minimum, you have to have at least a 580. And these minimum requirements don't mean you're going to get approved. It just means we can try and we can take a look. Conventional, I believe, recently waived their minimum requirements. It used to be a 620, but now you technically don't have to have a minimum. But it all just means we can try to see if we can get you approved. And as I was saying, I see a lot more success in the mid-600s. Now that doesn't mean you can't get approved if you do have a 585 or something like that, because not all credit profiles are created equally. But even then, if you're worried about being credit challenged, I'd still get in touch with the lender, because we can look at your credit report and we have a lot of tools to help you figure out like how to improve your credit or what steps you can take. And that way you can get started on a plan to kind of move forward and get closer to your dream of buying a home rather than just kind of aimlessly moving through. Okay, so if someone has any kind of interest in being a homeowner, that really you shouldn't wait. You should get talking to someone, like give you a call or give a realtor a call, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you know this is something you want to do and you don't have that exact information yet, it's better to have a plan and know either, yes, I can do this within the amount of time that I've set forward for myself, or I have some work to do, but at least I know what I need to be doing, rather than waiting a year to find out that you have to take a year to repair your credit or something like that. You can start putting yourself in a great position now so that you can be ready to buy your home when the time comes.
Great, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, Andrew, thank you for your time. Some great information.
Appreciate you having me.
Yes. And if you need some more information, some more detailed information that we weren't able to go over in this interview, feel free to reach out to me at the Tantalon Real Estate Group or Andrew here with New American Funding. I'm going to put some information in the comments, so you can click some links there, or you can give him a call and put his phone number in there if you're cool with that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, and be sure to subscribe, and there'll be more information coming later on.